I really thought Franklin was a goner this episode. The way my anxiety was set up this episode, it was beyond through the roof. You know what I'm saying? Like the writing, the cinematography, the directing, especially from your boy Jamie Jerome, aka Amen Joseph. He did his damn thing, and I like how he opened up the episode with the Ice T classic song playing in the background. I thought that was pretty cool. And as you see the camera panning through the party, you see where Scully and Leon are making up. They're reconciling. And it's a beautiful moment, because Leon has been going through a lot since he killed Scully's daughter by accident. And Scully has done some real soul searching. So that's one thing I want to talk about in this show. I mean, even the small characters have some serious character development. They have a lot of interest to them, and the way they engage the screen is just phenomenal. The way they do it. I mean, Snowfall is one of them gems where they can be able to pull things off like that, especially when you have people like the late John Singleton and Dave Andron, who was the executive producer on the show Justified, and Walter Mosley and many other people. Even the writer from Menace to Society, Tiger Williams, even has some credit in this. So that's what keeps the show so grounded and authentic. Talking to their women, telling them their potentially last goodbyes was pretty interesting because we get to see everyone's else perspective on how their world is set up and what they have to go through and what their main objective is in this whole thing. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I like how Aunt Louie stuck with the plan and didn't necessarily give Franklin up, even though it was for another selfish reason, and that was to be clear of Teddy. Now you want to come down. I mean, poor Aunt Louie. Unfortunately, she had to lose Jerome to realize that she wasn't really built for this. Otherwise, she'd be dead. Now, I want to talk about the scene where Aunt Louie was punching Franklin. I mean, that was some serious act. I mean, damn, yo, Damson is a beast. This is like, can no one, no one could have ever pulled off Franklin like Damson Idris, bro. And that's a fact. I'm so glad he got this part, and I'm going to miss his character once the show ends. But anyway, that scene was really intense. And as usual, he's usually getting beat up, always. But at least this time, he let it happen. Of course, he could have beat Aunt Louie's ass, but he's not like that to hit a woman. But I want to talk about Veronica and her baby. Now, towards the end of the episode, she starts having her water breaks and she starts having contractions. And that's serious because one, this is the 80s. There's not much technology around. There ain't no cell phones to call nothing. And then plus the area she's staying in is pretty crappy and there's no service. I'm pretty sure of it. And then two, she's all alone. I mean, she should have had Sissy to be there, you know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, now that I think about it, maybe she should have got on that plane with her mom, so she can have the baby safely, you know what I'm saying? Because it's taking a toll on her and taking a toll on her body and the baby. So I want to see how that's going to play out for her. Now back to this scene where Aunt Louie was punching Franklin. I want to talk about this some more because you can feel the emotion that Aunt Louie had. You can tell that she wanted to do that for a long time. But at first, she wasn't really giving it her all. Now, I thought it was going to be Scully that was going to join in and start punching him, but talk about some serious character development. He said, that's not me, G. And Aunt Louie just did the honors. And it was crazy how Franklin, the one that she hates so much, had to antagonize her to get it out of her and just bring that monster out of her. And she just expressed it the best way she could. And, that was enough. Now, I wanted to go back a little bit, and I want to talk about how Teddy is basically being used by the CIA, and he knows it. They said, yes, send us the money, but deep down he knows that he's being used as a pawn, as a scapegoat, because once all of this is exposed, they're going to need someone to blame. And when they have Teddy on record and there's proof that he's been smuggling drugs through the country. You know what I'm saying? And so once that blows up, he's finished. To be honest with you, since the CIA basically let go of Teddy, I feel like Franklin can just take out Teddy and get away pretty, okay. Might have to look over his shoulder for a while, but it'll maybe blow over. But then again, the CIA needs Teddy, so they may find Franklin, but I don't know how this is gonna end. Now, this image right here, I want to talk about how Ruben saved the day because of that move Gustavo pulled earlier at the phone, because your boy Moreno just lost his patience. First of all, he got out the car to see what was going on. You can tell that Gustavo was nervous, but he was able to call Franklin and get things in motion, but he ends up getting arrested, which leads to Franklin getting captured by Teddy. But now your boy Ruben saved the day. He said, "We got to go finish your mission." So Franklin gets apprehended by your boy Teddy, and Teddy basically is lynching this dude. I mean, he cares about his mission, the American flag, and this, that, and the third, and it was just some real live symbolism going on in that scene. You can see the racism that goes on in all these branches. Is having a conversation with Melody in this season 2 flashback, giving her his word that he's going to protect her and protect all the people that he loves. But we see from all the other seasons that that didn't come into fruition, because a lot of people ended up hurt. Some people got killed. Some people ended up in terrible situations, and the whole 9 yards. Now, Gustavo and Franklin coming up with this plan at the party, and they realize that they have to move on it because they have 24 hours before things get messed up. So Franklin provides Gustavo with the passports and the money. So that's going to set him straight. And at first, I thought this was going to be Gustavo's last episode, because the way he was all sentimental with his girl and the kids and giving her kisses and all that, man, it was just like, yo, I hope my man Gustavo ain't finna go out like this, man. Now, we get Teddy and Parissa on the other hand. They're having a conversation, and he basically professes his love to her and talking about, will you marry me? And that's his mother's ring. And I'm like, it's a lot going on right now, because you talking about you want to get married, bro. Franklin is after you, and you're after Franklin. So I don't know what you talking about getting married for. I don't know why he thinks all of this is just gonna blow over so easy, but we'll see how that plays out by the end of the season. We got 2 episodes left, and this season has been fire. Now, towards the end of the episode, Louis drops Franklin off at the crate yard, and your boy Teddy shows up. Franklin realizes his plan goes to crap, and he gets stumped out by your boy Teddy, hung up, and it just ends up a crazy moment in the episode. They have a standoff. Your boy Ruben is turning on Gustavo, yo, I thought Gustavo killed Ruben the way he was slamming him on that floor. I mean, he slung him like a rag doll. I was hoping that they didn't knock over the barrel where Franklin was standing on, because otherwise he was going to hang himself, and that's exactly what they did. But Gustavo saves Franklin, and Teddy is handcuffed to the crate lifter, and your boy Franklin's face turns into a whole goblin, because the way this boy was smiling and frowning at the same time, you already know he has some devious plans cooking up in his head after Gustavo asked, "What do you want to do?" There's two right here. These two right here, besides Franklin and Leon, they are some monsters. But I feel like Franklin and Gustavo are some monsters on like a whole I'm really different eager to level. See how this concludes, and I want to see how Franklin and Gustavo are gonna pull this off, because this is a really high risk situation right here, and it's not guaranteed that anyone's gonna walk away unscathed. But however, there is somewhere out to every situation, but Franklin really has to be careful. My question to him is, all of these bodies and all this death, it even costs you your own uncle in your relationship with Aunt Louie, potentially with your own mother. What if all of these deaths and all of these events that happened led up to this point, and you end up getting nothing? Imagine that. Imagine doing all of this. You lose your uncle. You lose your relationship with Aunt Louie. It's all these things adding up just to get absolutely nothing but a slap on the wrist or a bullet to the head. That would be crazy. Franklin's drive and motive for the money is very scary because the way he took out Teddy's father, he just made things a lot worse. He made it to the point where he has to get rid of Teddy. And if he gets rid of Teddy, who knows how hot it could be. Yes, he's not a part of the CIA, and the CIA is basically using him as a scapegoat, which is why Franklin can't just go and kill him because they still need him somehow. But if him being dead, it's not gonna be anything big, but I do feel like it's gonna backfire some way somehow. But anyway, that's my review slash recap of Snowfall season 6 episode 8, directed by your boy Jamin Jerome, aka Jamin Joseph. He really did it with this episode. He killed it. He had the camera shots on lock, and I feel like this dude right here is a cinematographer masterpiece. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna call him a masterpiece because the way he directed this episode, he did it. But anyway, man, that's my video. That's my review. Hit that like and subscribe. I'm off this, and y'all take care of yourselves. I'm gone.